Every year, the experts at U.S. News & World Report rank the nation's best hospitals. They've recognized St. Vincent as the #1 hospital in Arkansas and listed 8 clinical areas as high-performing specialties. The next closest Arkansas hospital only had 3. This recognition is due to the unwavering commitment of our world-class physicians, dedicated nurses, and associates who have now made St. Vincent the state's #1 hospital.
Running, generally thought to be a very healthy, very safe, an inexpensive way to maintain health and maybe even add years to your life, but does that always mean that you're going to do that? And if you run longer, will you do that? A new study by the American College of Cardiology Scientific Session suggests running more may not necessarily help you live longer. St. Vincent cardiologist Dr. John Colleran is helping us this morning kind of figure out what this study means for you, especially if you are a runner. Dr. Colleran, thanks so much for coming in this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Let's talk more about this and specifically what this new study found.
Sure.
We always hear running is, hey, just go for a run. It's a great way to get exercise. What did they say about this study and what did they find?
Well, running is still a good form of exercise. It always has been a good form of exercise. However, researchers have questioned the amount of high endurance activity that people do lately. This study looked at runners, a group of runners that ran more than 20 miles per week compared to those that ran less than 20 miles per week, and found a higher mortality in the group that ran more than 20 miles per week.
Okay, it's almost 3 miles a day averaged out.
Yes.
So how much did they find that the length of the run, maybe is it the intensity of the run, is it the length of the run? What exactly were their findings in terms of stress on the body?
Well, I think it's a combination of both.
Okay.
Intensity, as well as how long people run.
So whenever they run an average of about 3 miles, is that like the cutoff right there, almost 3 miles a day?
Unfortunately, more research is necessary in this area.
Yeah.
This may be a possible limit. The CDC recommends that each of us do about 2.5 hours of moderate intense exercise per week. However, we do not know the exact limit to running at this point right now. We just have a broad general outline, and those people that really run intense, long distances may be potentially putting themselves at risk for things like sudden cardiac death.
Wow, and that's something you wouldn't think would be associated with something like running.
Right.
Like, so trainers for marathons and half marathons even, those are the people that they kind of zeroed in on as being maybe more at risk.
Absolutely. We've all heard about those runners that have suddenly died during a marathon. Actually, 50% of deaths occurred during the last mile of the marathon.
Wow.
Even Philippides keeled over when he brought his news to Athens from ancient Greece about victory.
Yeah.
A guru, Jim Fix, who was a great marathon runner, was found dead on the side of the road. So we have to ask ourselves, running all these miles, is it really necessary?
Now let's talk about the alternatives. Say you still want to get the exercise out there and do something inexpensive like running or walking, and you're a typical runner. Is walking that alternative, or is it still something that it could be bad for you?
Well, don't give up your running shoes just yet.
Okay.
All right? I think runners should still continue to run. I think athletes that are well-trained can continue to do high-intensity aerobic activities. However, I think there's a moderation that has to be set.
Certainly.
And people may cross-train or do other forms of exercise that may be beneficial.
Now there's talks of also using something like a simple ibuprofen or an aspirin to help out. How much?
What this study looked at was considering whether or not aspirin may be potentially beneficial or drugs like ibuprofen, which may be detrimental. They actually did not see any differences between the two groups of runners. So neither aspirin was necessarily beneficial. Ibuprofen was not necessarily detrimental.
Okay, interesting. Very interesting stuff. And if you want to know more about any of this study, of course, you can go online and make sure you call your cardiologist before starting a high regimen training or a regimen that includes high intensity training, because that's the biggest thing, calling and talking to your doctor, right?
Absolutely. See your doctor, and if necessary, he can refer you to a cardiologist.
All right, Dr. John Colleran joining us this morning, talking about running and the benefits of running, and also to make sure you are running safe out there. Thank you so much for coming in, Doctor. Appreciate it.